This is Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us today for Live with Annie. As usual, we've started the stream a bit early. This helps us get everything set up and broadcasting properly to our various platforms. You can find a countdown clock on the screen showing how long it will be until we actually go live. While you wait, please connect with us and other viewers in the chat. Let us know where you are from and whether you're a new or longtime viewer. We'll see you live soon! Thanks again for joining us for Live with Annie. We are so happy to have you with us today. While you wait for the program to start, we hope you'll enjoy the content playing on screen. There's so much inspiration, so take a moment to tell us what you love in the chat. Don't forget there is a countdown clock on the screen so you know how long until we go live. it's Annie again, reminding you that we'll be going live with this week's episode shortly. There is a countdown clock on the screen showing how much time is left. You've got just enough time to grab some water or a beverage of your choice and a snack, and to connect with us in the chat. We'd love to hear what you've been working on this week. Again, it's Annie, back to remind you that we'll be starting this week's live very shortly. We've got a really fun episode planned for today, and we'll see you soon. Hi, I'm Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thanks so much for joining us for episode 22 of season 3 of Live with Annie. We have pre-recorded today's episode as Jake had to make an unplanned trip out of town, but the rest of the team will be available in the chat to interact with you and answer any questions you might have. Today we are excited to give you a sneak peek at Tim Holtz's gorgeous upcoming collection, Colorblock. This FreeSpirit collection, which is part of Tim's Eclectic Elements line, will begin shipping to stores in October, so be sure to be on the lookout for it at your local quilt shops. We're going to show you a number of projects that we made using Colorblock and share tips for sewing and choosing coordinates and supplies too, so stay tuned. If you enjoy these episodes, please take a minute to follow us wherever you are watching us. And if you know someone else who you think might enjoy the information that we share, we'd really love it if you'd tell them about Live with Annie. The easiest way to do that is to just tag them while you're watching. That will take them directly to the episode so they can watch it too. Also, we love reading your comments, so be sure to interact with us throughout this presentation. And put any questions you have and we'll answer them during the episode. We want to know what you think, and we love learning from you too. Last week we had a sew-along for our free pattern Peacekeeper, which makes a handy little zippered bag. We worked through the project together and also shared ways to customize the bags. If you missed it or want to watch it again, remember that you can find all the previous 122 episodes of Live with Annie on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or at ByAnnie.com. And we'll put up all the links to make them easy for you to find. So for the past several weeks, we have been participating in an influencer tour with FreeSpirit Fabrics to help promote and build excitement for fabrics which they released in April. We were especially thrilled to be asked to work with Tim Holtz's upcoming collection, Colorblock, and we couldn't wait to get started. So over the past few weeks and in the coming days, we have shared and will continue to share photos of our progress on our ByAnnie blog. There we've also talked about some of the techniques involved in making the projects. But today we thought it would be fun to give you a final reveal of all the projects and tell you a little more about each one. So some of our favorite things about this line were the way Tim experimented with scale, and that the collection includes a canvas print. So the Colorblock line includes 4 multicolored fabrics, all of which are digitally printed for endless color. The smallest print in the collection is called Colorblock Mosaic, and it has squares that are about an inch wide and tall. Next is Colorblock Tiled, that has squares measuring about 1 inch. Following that is Colorblock Patchwork, that has about 2-inch squares. And the piece de resistance is the Colorblock Canvas, and it has squares that are about 2 3/4 inches. So all of these fabrics coordinate really beautifully with Tim's other lines, so it was really easy to find coordinating prints to go with the Colorblock fabrics. And we primarily used Tim Holtz Provisions and Worn Croc in a variety of colors. So I'm going to move these out of the way, and we're going to look at some of the projects that we made. So when we first received the Colorblock cotton fabrics, we discovered that there were 3 gradating size of squares, and we thought it would be fun to use those different sizes of Colorblock to make one of our patterns that includes several sizes. Our double zip gear bag 2.0 pattern has instructions for bags in 3 sizes, and we really needed another model of it, so it was the perfect choice. So these functional bags will keep anyone well-groomed and organized. Here's the small one, and as you can see, I've got it packed with toiletries. Perfect also for electronic gear, just the right size to fit in a suitcase easily. The medium or the large one, we've got packed with shoes. It's big enough to hold a nice pair of shoes. And the medium one is good for a thread collection. Each one of them has pockets on the outside as well as on the inside, a handle on the end for grabbing it, and a double zippered top that opens easily for full access to everything inside. I really love the wide opening on them because it makes it easy to see what's inside. And I like using this medium-sized one to carry my collection of superior thread on cones. They fit perfectly inside. It's easy to see the color numbers. It's also easy to see the thread for the project. So as we were planning this, or when the fabric arrived, our first step was to choose lining and coordinating fabrics to go with each of them. And as you can see, there are so many colors in them that there's a lot of ways you could go. But we narrowed it down to these choices, which may be helpful for you when you get ready to pick yours. So for the Colorblock Mosaic, which is the smallest one, we picked Provisions, and the color was linen. For the Colorblock Tiled, which is the medium-sized one, we picked Provisions in Crimson, so more of a red tone. And then for the Patchwork one, we picked Provisions in Mocha. And then to tie everything together, we picked Worn Croc in Moonlit to be the coordinate for everything. So the coordinate on these is used for the bindings, for the lining on the flap, and for the handles. After that, we auditioned mesh, fold-over elastic, and zippers for the project. And when we do that, we take our samples of mesh and we just lay them out on the fabric and decide which one we like best with the fabric. So again, so many choices that you could do. And we decided in the end to do Union Blue as the color of our zippers on every single one of the bags. And then we used different colors of mesh on each one. So on the medium-sized one, we used navy on the outside, but we used Adam Red with navy fold over on the inside. On the small one, we did pewter on the outside, but on the inside we did natural with navy fold over to blend with the lining. And then on the large one, we did Adam Red on the outside, but on the inside, natural, again with navy for the fold over. So navy was our choice on fold over for all of them to kind of blend in with the blue that we had picked for the coordinating fabric. So once those decisions were made, then we set the fabrics to our long arm quilter for her to work her magic. Having the fabrics already quilted really saves time. It also helps us make best use of the fabric because we can usually get several projects out of each piece of quilted fabric. In this case, we even had enough to make models for an upcoming pattern. This pattern won't be released until October, but we're going to give you a little sneak peek today to show it to you. So I'm going to close these double zip gear bags up, get them out of the way, and then we're going to take a look at a new pattern for fall. Double zip gear bags are awesome for men, women, children. My grandson loves these, and even when he was little tiny, he loved being able to pull on that and close those and carry his toys in it. All right, so next we're going to take a look at this pattern. So we thought that the colorful style of the fabrics made them perfect for a set of lunch bags, so we used the mosaic and the tiled fabrics to make models of our upcoming pattern Out to Lunch 2.0. So this pattern includes instructions for compact yet roomy bags in 2 sizes. And the great thing about these stylish bags is that they open all the way from side to side, giving full access to the spacious interior. There are panels on each side to prevent your contents from spilling out when that zipper is fully open, and there's multiple pockets inside and out. So you've got 2 full height pockets on the outside, and then you've got a zippered full height mesh pocket and a slip pocket on the inside. So they're perfect for carrying to lunch, to work or school, or they'd even make a great purse for running around town. So I've got this one actually packed as a small diaper bag. So I've got some diapers in here, some extra change of clothes, a baby bottle, all kinds of things. As we decided on this, we debated about actually using the lining side of the fabric for the body of the bag and then just use the pockets out of the Colorblock fabric, which would have given a whole different look to the bag. But in the end, we decided that we really liked just using the colorful squares completely on the outside. So for the small one, we used the smallest, which is the Colorblock mosaic, and we used provisions again in linen for the lining. And then for the coordinate, we picked provisions in vineyard. We thought that kind of a deep, rich burgundy looked nice. And that we used for the handles, the bindings, and also the side panels. And our cranberry zippers perfectly matched that vineyard provisions. And on the inside, we used natural mesh and natural fold over elastic. On the large one, we used the medium-sized print, so the Colorblock tiled. And on this one, we picked provisions in crimson for the lining and provisions in indigo for the coordinate. And to go with the indigo on that, we used navy for our zippers, inside and out, and Adam Red fold over elastic and mesh on the inside. So lots of choices that you can pick with these. We had lots of fun picking different ones to go with each one. As you can see, we still have a fair amount of that quilted fabric left. We've got so many projects that use just small amounts of quilted fabric, so it's going to be really fun to decide how we're going to use the rest of this fabric. If you have any thoughts for us, leave us a comment and let us know what you suggest. So once those smaller projects were in the works, we then started making plans for using the awesome Colorblock canvas. And our friends at FreeSpirit had suggested that it might work well for some of our larger travel bags. We completely agreed with that and asked them to send us enough fabric to make 2 different projects. So the first project that we decided to make with the canvas was our round trip duffel. And if you have ever made ByAnnie's, the ByAnnie Basics pattern, whoops, didn't mean to throw that on the floor, Easy Does It, then the process of making round trip duffel is going to be very similar to you. Because if you look at this, you're going to see that Easy Does It has a front and a back and a zipper side strip that joins those. And the same way, round trip duffel has a front and a back and a zipper side strip that joins them. It has the addition of some pockets and handles, but other than that, it's the basic same process. So there are several advantages to this style of bag. First, because the front and back are separate pieces, it's easy to use directional fabrics. This Colorblock isn't directional, but if you had a directional one, you wouldn't have to worry about one being upside down if this was all one piece. Also, because the zipper extends partway down the sides of the bag, on each side, it's really easy to access everything inside. So we designed the handles on each side of round trip duffel to be attached to the bag using rectangle rings. That way, if the handles wear out, we can really easily replace them. So if you have any leftover fabric when you're making a bag, you might want to set some aside just for that purpose. We also added an adjustable carrying strap so that if you want to carry it crossbody with a padded strap to go over your shoulder, so it's really easy to carry it when it gets full. So the main compartment of the bag opens with a double slide zipper. Again, that extends partway down on each side. And there's also on the back a trolley sleeve. So if you want to slip it over the handles of your rolling luggage when you're going through the airport, that makes it really easy to carry. And it has a lot of pockets besides. So on the back, there is a big slip pocket behind that trolley sleeve. There are slip pockets on each end. And then in the front, there's a combination slip and zippered pocket. So the back makes a slip pocket, and on top of that is a zippered pocket. So really easy place to carry your phone, your keys when you travel. I like to put my boarding pass in here. Makes everything easy to access. A base stabilizer can be inserted into the bottom of the bag, and that goes there to give it some good stability. And then on the inside, we've got a full height zippered mesh pocket on one side and a fabric slip pocket on the other side that's divided into 3 sections when the handles are sewn in place. So lots of pockets, lots of ways to organize everything that you want to carry. So again, we chose the Colorblock canvas, which is the biggest size of squares for this, and we used provisions in stone, which is a kind of a gray color, and we added some of Tim Holtz's other fabrics to give a little color interest to the inside pocket. And then we used Worn Croc in Nightfall for the coordinate on this. We felt like we wanted this to be a little more masculine looking bag, so we used black zippers on the exterior. On the interior, we used cranberry to give a little more interest to the color, and we used mesh and pewter to go with the gray. And then we used our 1.5 inch hardware in antique brass for the handles and straps. Because we wanted to get started sewing on this bag right away, we decided to quilt this fabric in-house rather than sending it to our long arm quilter. So our model maker, Marianne, quilted this, and she did the full piece of fabric. And what she did is she just sewed along the lines that are between all the blocks, and then she did diagonal lines from corner to corner along each of those. She said that working with such a large piece of fabric and soft and stable was a challenge, but as you can see, she really mastered it beautifully. So that is round trip duffel. And a great bag that I think anybody would love to carry. I'm going to grab one more drink of water, and then we're going to talk about one more project that we made. I'm going to have to move some of this off the table to make room. which way should I turn that to see best? How's that? All right. So we also made a set of our tools of the trade bags using the Colorblock canvas. And these bags are designed for you to store, protect, and carry big items like rulers, mats, pressing mats, and they're perfect for artists, quilters, or other creatives. So this awesome pattern includes instructions for functional carriers in 2 sizes. Unfortunately, Marianne hasn't finished the small Colorblock version yet, since we had to film a little bit early, but I have a small version that I made using Tim Holtz's Embark canvas fabrics. So we're going to add that in here, and actually you can see the colors coordinate really beautifully, and it could make a really pretty set just combining those 2. So the sleek design of this bag makes sure that they're going to be really sturdy and stable. So when we designed these, we made them slightly shorter in the back so that when they're standing up, they will lean to the back, and that makes it really easy to lean them against a table or a wall. And on the outside front, we added a slip and a zippered pocket for items that you need to get to quickly. So it's a pretty good size pocket on the small one, even bigger on the large one. It's really easy to access things that are inside this by just lifting the flap. So if you've got this, I'm going to zip it up. So if you've got this leaning against a table and you want to reach in and get your cutting mat or your pressing mat, those are going to be easy to do without even laying the bag down. Or if you'd like, you can lay the bag down and zip open the sides, and then you're going to have full visibility and access to everything inside. So if you're in a class and you've got limited space, you can even fold this over so it doesn't take up as much room. So on the inside, and we're going to show the small one first, you've got a large mesh zippered pocket that's on the inside of the front, and then you have a padded sleeve that has a variety of fabric and mesh dividers, which you can use to keep your tools and supplies organized, while also making them really easy to access and easy to see. So all of the divisions that are sewn into these can be customized to fit what you are carrying. So I always recommend that you lay out what you want to put in the bag and make some plans before you start. So on this small one, you can see we've got 2 divisions in the fabric divider, which are sized to fit a ruler and probably another ruler here. And then we sized these to fit a variety of rulers and small tools. So the small bag is designed to hold up to a 12 by 18 inch mat, or in my case, I have in here a folding mat. So I could even put in an 18 by 24 inch mat once it was folded in half. And you can put in rulers that measure up to 12.5 inches high and 18 inches wide. The large one, let's take a look at it next. So this fabric we did send to our long armor to quilt because it was a big piece by the time you get all these cut out. So this one is designed to hold up to an 18 by 24 inch mat. I put my pressing mat in there. I've got my large Stripology ruler, so you can do rulers up to 18.5 inch square in here. And then when you're ready to go, you just re-zip the sides, close the flap, and the bags have really nice long handles, so you can carry them over your shoulder or even crossbody if you want. So the handles are kind of attached at an angle that makes it gives it some interest. It also maximizes the pocket space, and it also makes carrying easier because the handles come together at the top and they don't fall off your shoulder. Tools of the Trade is absolutely perfect for taking to a class, take it to a retreat, or if you work at home and you work on your dining room table, it's the perfect way to get everything off the dining table, out of the guest room when you've got company coming, and to just hold everything in one place. So when we did this project, again, we quilted one large piece for the bags, and we used Warncroc and Moonlit for the coordinate. And then to complement those, again, we used Union Blue for the zippers, we used natural mesh and navy fold over elastic. Since we were a little bit short on fabric, rather than using the quilted fabric for the padded dividers in each one, we used leftover fabric from the other pieces for the padded dividers on the inside. And that adds some fun interest and gives you another look for the inside. So that again is tools of the trade, perfect bag when you need to carry large items. So before we close, I want to share just a few tips for sewing with this canvas fabric. I'm going to bring up that piece of quilted fabric so we can maybe get a little bit closer look at it. So the Tim Colorblock canvas is 100% cotton, and it weighs about 200 grams per square meter. So it's considered a 6.2 ounce canvas. If you want to compare that to their cotton quilting fabrics, those have about 155 grams per square meter. So because this canvas is woven with a heavier yarn, the thread count per square inch is a little bit less. And that enables this fabric to have a really nice drape, plus a little bit of extra weight, which makes it really versatile for your sewing. So it's not a stiff, heavy canvas. It's really more of just a slightly heavier cotton fabric. We found it super easy to work with, and we really felt that it really wasn't much different than using a regular cotton quilting fabric. We do recommend, and you'll notice that what we did on our projects is that we used it just for the main fabric part of the project, and then we used a regular quilting weight cotton for the lining and the coordinates. We also found that you might want to cut the binding just a tad bit wider or take a slightly smaller seam when attaching the final binding because it's going around a little bit thicker areas. As always, we recommend sewing with a 90-14 top stitch needle and using Sewfine number 50 thread from Superior Threads. Sewfine 50 is a 50 weight polyester thread. It has a little bit of a stretch. It's available in 134 colors, and it's strong and sturdy, but it's also fine enough to not be terribly noticeable on the finished project, especially times when you are sewing multiple times in the same area. If you're having any trouble sewing with needle breakage when you're sewing with heavier fabric and multiple layers, the tip is to slow down your speed and also avoid pulling or pushing the fabric under the needle. On a lot of machines, you can actually change the speed level on the sewing machine, which enables you to push the little lever down to the lowest, and then you can floor the pedal, but the machine doesn't go any faster, and that's a really helpful feature to have. But go slow, take your time, and what happens if you pull or push on it is you bend the needle, which is usually what causes breakage. It's not the fact that you're sewing on a heavier fabric. Don't forget, too, to seal your edges once you're sewing with quilted fabric to help compress the layers. That also is helpful for reducing bulk. We generally sew with a 2.5 stitch length. We will switch to a longer stitch length when we're quilting or top stitching, generally using about a 3 or a 3.5. And you'll note that on the projects that we made that had handles, we used just a quilting weight cotton, but I think you would have good results making the handles with canvas as well if you prefer to do that. So I hope you enjoyed seeing these fun projects that we made using Colorblock in both canvas and cotton. We've been answering questions as they come up, but if we missed your question, don't hesitate to email us at info@ByAnnie.com. As I said, we had lots of fun working with the Colorblock fabrics, and we're really happy with how these projects turned out. So be sure to check out our ByAnnie blog to read more about the projects and get some tips for sewing them. And when you visit today's blog post, be sure to leave a comment on the blog. Let us know which of these projects you liked best and which ByAnnie project you'd like to make using Colorblock, and we are going to choose a winner from those who post to win a bundle of fabric from FreeSpirit. So remember, this giveaway is on the blog, not here on Live with Annie, so you need to leave your comment there. And you will have until midnight Mountain Time on Friday, July 21st to add your comment. We will pick a winner then and email for your contact and delivery info, and then we'll send that to FreeSpirit and they will ship the fabric bundle directly to you. So good luck to all of you. And as always, please ask for these fabrics, patterns, and supplies at your local quilt shop. These shops are such an important part of our sewing and quilting community, and it is up to all of us to keep them strong and vibrant. If they don't have these products, they can certainly get them. fabrics from FreeSpirit Fabrics, and patterns and supplies from their favorite distributor or from us. We are happy to set up a wholesale account for them, so just ask them to contact us for more information. Let's move on now to our featured local quilt shop of the week. At ByAnnie, we are all about supporting local quilt shops, and we love showcasing shops around the world. Today, we are visiting stores in Kentucky and the United Kingdom. We'll start today in Versailles, Kentucky at Bluegrass Stitches and Crafts. They were the regional winner for Kentucky in this year's LQS contest. Store owner Mona Phelps says she loves to quilt and help others on their quilting journey. She enjoys spending time with her husband and 2 adult children. She also has 2 dogs who are some of her favorite people. Late in 2016, owner Mona Phelps was trying to figure out some type of item that she could make to sell at a local quilt fair. She started by making key fobs and soon followed those with soup bowl cozies, scarves, and zippered bags. In researching fabric to make those items, Mona came across the gorgeous modern prints that were available and fell down the rabbit hole of quilting. She completed her first quilt top in January 2017 and has never looked back. Then Mona started making t-shirt quilts and memory quilts for others. Bluegrass Stitches became a home-based business and online fabric store at the end of 2018 when the addition of an APQS Millie 30 gave her the ability to quilt for others. Finally, after taking up most of the first floor of her house, Mona opened Bluegrass Stitches and Crafts, a brick-and-mortar store, in July of 2022. Bluegrass Stitches and Crafts is a unique store, offering not only quilting fabric and supplies, but also art supplies of various types, yarns and needlework supplies, and handmade items by local crafters. The store definitely has a small-town feel, offering modern quilt fabrics and quilting services that are definitely needed in the area. 99% of the fabric offered in the store is quilting cotton, most from Moda, FreeSpirit, and Riley Blake, with other manufacturers sprinkled in. All types of notions for quilting and sewing are available, along with long arm, embroidery, and direct-to-garment printing services. Bluegrass Stitches and Crafts are celebrating their 1-year anniversary this month and will be having specials all throughout the month. Their ByAnnie trunk show will be on display in the store from July 22nd until August 19th, so be sure to stop in and check it out and wish them a happy anniversary from all of us at ByAnnie. Customers who voted for Bluegrass Stitches and Crafts in this year's contest were especially vocal in their appreciation of having a local shop. Lori said, "It's full of beautiful fabric and sewing notions. The entire small town of Versailles is so happy to have this wonderful store open so that we can buy fabric, thread, sewing supplies, yarn, art supplies, gifts, etc. without driving to another town." And Flora wrote, "It's so wonderful to switch my thinking from I need to go to Michael's, which is in the closest larger town, to I need to go to Bluegrass Stitches and Crafts." Rebecca said that she appreciates the variety of choices, support for local craftsmen and quilters, and the high level of expertise available with the owner and family. A very welcomed, warm, friendly neighborhood-feeling shop. Just going to Bluegrass Stitches will leave you smiling and feeling good. My sister and I found this wonderful shop on a cold, rainy Sunday and spent over 3 hours just wandering around. We found many wonderful craft items as well as fabric which we purchased. The special moment was when we were leaving and realized that we were really excited and full of ideas. Just by talking to the owner and her mother, we left smiling and with a warm family feeling and excitement. We had a great day that day and still have that warm, excited feeling with every visit. I loved hearing those stories, and I do wish Bluegrass Stitches and Crafts a very happy first anniversary and much continued success. All right, next we are traveling all the way to the United Kingdom to visit Oh So Sweet Shop in Barnsley, UK. Owners Lorraine and Jeff Hall have been special friends of ByAnnie for many years, and we always enjoy catching up with them at shows. Their sense of humor and excitement always makes us smile. When asked about their store, Lorraine and Jeff wrote, We love everything by Annie and had the good fortune to meet Annie, Casey, and the team in Houston in 2015. We have been big fans ever since. Our passion is generated through our customers and their love of anything crafty. We have always been supported by them and have created a brilliant shop community spirit around both our brick-and-mortar shop and even more online, too. The store started in a small shopping unit in May 2015 with a teaching classroom above. We also sold traditional way-out suites, which is where we got our name. They were very popular. We quickly grew away from this shop to our second, which was much larger and an old scout hunt. We implemented a coffee shop, and this had teaching space too. It quickly became known as a destination shop to all the sewing and quilting community. More recently, and in part due to COVID, we sell online via many different platforms. We wanted to find the balance to deal with all customers, especially those who could not visit the store. Weekly Facebook Lives are so popular and widely attended. We now operate from a business village, which is a hybrid model between online and walk-in customers. We also attend many trade shows up and down the UK. Oh So Sweet carries lots of 100% cotton fabrics, mainly Northcott, Maykower, Anbo, and Moda. Their goal is to bring in fabric that is a bit different. At the moment, their three top sellers by far are ByAnnie products, Funky Friends factory toy patterns, and their famous Sweetie-inspired pick-and-mix Fat Eighth bundles. They also sell lots of other notions in haberdashery such as Auntie's 2 patterns and Bosel products. With regular stock arriving weekly from America, they are particularly good at sourcing those hard-to-find things. When asked about their staff, Jeff and Lorraine said, "We could not run this business without our colleague Jane, who is simply amazing. Jane is the kit queen, plus she makes samples, teaches, and does so much stuff we cannot list it all. She is a real gem for us as shop owners, as she is very much in tune with the success of the business." Plus the wonderful Rosemary, who has been everything to Oh So Sweet and makes a lot of the ByAnnie samples, and Carol, who never falters when I am asking her at the last minute to make samples for the trade show. These two are diamonds, and we appreciate all of our staff. Customers who voted for Oh So Sweet in this year's contest praised the store's service and selection and raved especially about the friendly family atmosphere that Jeff and Lorraine have developed. Cheryl wrote, "Jeff and Lorraine are more than fabrics and notions. They're family. Right from day one in their first shop, they have gone above and beyond. No way would I have made the creations I did without their guidance, and more importantly, I wouldn't have the fabulous sewing friends that I treasure fondly. On my first visit, it felt right. I went in on my own, but came out as part of the Oh So Sweet quilting family." And Linda agreed, praising the shop's fantastic range of stock and amazing staff. She said, "They are so friendly, helpful, and knowledgeable. Nothing is too much trouble. They make every customer feel he or she is important. They work incredibly hard, offering Facebook Live and video calls. Excellent prompt mail order service with sensible postage costs. The list of positives just goes on and on. We are so lucky to have them in our area." And Fiona wrote, "I live in Glasgow, Scotland, where there are only a few fabric stores and they don't stock ByAnnie products. Oh So Sweet stocks a good variety of ByAnnie patterns and products, and I can buy them online and they always ship quickly." And Jenny summed things up saying, "This lovely shop prides itself on top-notch customer service, with the staff always being attentive and offering the best advice without being pushy. Oh So Sweet is a small business which has made a big impact. The Oh So Sweet family is wonderful." When asked about the impact of the contest on their store, Jeff and Lorraine said, "We just love how the customers like to get involved, and we are always grateful and blown away by the kindest of comments about our lovely shop. We are sure it has a huge impact on raising awareness of us all over the world." I loved reading all those wonderful comments about Oh So Sweet, and we really appreciate their strong support for ByAnnie. So in addition to the ByAnnie trunk show that we sent them, they also make lots and lots of ByAnnie models. That means that they have great knowledge of our patterns and our products. So thank you, Lorraine and Jeff, and everyone at Oh So Sweet for your friendship and support. We appreciate you. Thank you again to everyone who joined us today. We will be back next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Mountain Time with another educational episode of Live with Annie. We are going to be joined by Stephanie Organis, a delightful new fabric designer for Andover Fabrics. Stephanie lives in Mexico, and she has a really delightful style. So she's going to join us to talk about her designs, as well as to share some tips for breaking into the fabric design business. You won't want to miss our visit with this delightful young designer, so be sure to mark your calendars now. And until then, happy stitching!